Let me take you into a quiet room, dim light, the world slowing down, and a question many people over 60 quietly carry in their hearts. Why is sleep no longer simple? You lie down, you are tired, you deserve rest. But sleep doesn't arrive like it used to. And slowly, without even realizing it, a new habit enters life: sleeping pills. A small tablet promising peace. But sometimes, instead of giving rest, it quietly takes away something deeper: natural rhythm, confidence, even trust in one's own body. Now, let me tell you something very gently. Sleep is not a command you give to your body. Sleep is a conversation your body has with peace. And today, I want to share 5 natural ways, simple, practical human ways that can help you reconnect with that peace after 60. No pills, no dependency, just understanding your body again. Let me begin with something very simple, almost embarrassingly simple. When was the last time you stood still in morning sunlight, not rushing, not planning, but just being there? After 60, many people say sleep has become difficult. But very few realize sleep is not the problem. The problem begins in the morning. You see, your body is not just a physical structure, it is a beautifully designed biological clock. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm, but I like to call it something simpler: your body's sense of time. Now imagine this clock not being reset properly every day. What happens? It starts getting confused. Night feels like day, day feels like night. And slowly, sleep becomes irregular, shallow, or delayed. And the reset button for this clock is not a pill, it is sunlight. When early morning sunlight touches your eyes, especially within the first hour of waking, it sends a powerful message to your brain: the day has begun. This does 3 beautiful things. First, it reduces melatonin confusion. Melatonin is the sleep hormone. It should rise at night, not randomly during the day or late evening. Sunlight helps regulate its timing. Second, it improves serotonin, the mood hormone. And a peaceful mind in the day becomes a sleeping mind at night. Third, and most importantly, it reconnects you with rhythm. Life is rhythm. Nature is rhythm. Even your heartbeat is rhythm. And when rhythm returns, rest follows naturally. But beyond science, let me say something emotional. Morning sunlight is like life whispering to you: you're still part of the cycle. You still belong here. Many people after 60 unconsciously withdraw from mornings. They wake up late, avoid stepping out, or stay indoors. And slowly, the body forgets how to differentiate day from night. So here is a small invitation: stand in sunlight like you are meeting an old friend. No phone, no hurry, just presence. Because sometimes healing sleep at night begins with how respectfully you meet the morning. Let me tell you something very honest about the human mind. It is not designed to stop thinking just because you lie down. In fact, moment the world becomes quiet, the mind becomes loud. After 60, this becomes even more intense. Why? Because life has accumulated experiences, some beautiful, some painful, some unresolved. And at night, when there are no distractions, all of it comes knocking at once. I should have said something differently. What will happen to my health? Did I do enough for my children? Why did that moment happen like that? And suddenly, your bed is no longer a place of rest. It becomes a courtroom of memories. So, what do? We create something very simple but powerful: the worry shelf. Imagine this: before you sleep, you take a notebook and you write everything that is running in your mind, not neatly, not wisely, just honestly. Then comes the key moment. You close the notebook and say, not now, tomorrow. This is not avoidance, this is emotional scheduling. Because here is a truth we often forget: your mind does not stop worrying because you are tired. It stops when it feels heard. Writing is a way of telling your mind, I see you, I acknowledge you, but you don't need to run the show at midnight. And something interesting happens when you practice this consistently. The mind slowly learns boundaries. It begins to understand daytime is for processing, nighttime is for resting. Think of it like a shop. If you keep it open 24 hours, it collapses. Even shops need closing hours. So does your mind. And emotionally, this practice becomes even more powerful. Because many sleepless nights are not caused by problems themselves, but by unprocessed emotions around those problems. When you write them down, you externalize them. You are no longer carrying them inside your chest. You are placing them somewhere outside yourself. And slowly, your bed becomes just a bed again, not a storage room of thoughts, not a battlefield of regrets, just a place where the body is allowed to say, I can rest now. Let me ask you something very simple. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to sleep when your body feels switched on? Not just physically active, but internally activated, restless, tight, overloaded. After 60, the body often carries more tension than we realize. Not always from physical work, but from emotional holding worries, responsibilities, silent stress. And a body that is holding cannot sleep easily. Sleep is not an act of doing, it is an act of surrender. So we need a bridge between activity and rest. I call it the body cooling ritual. This is not about temperature alone. It is about signaling your nervous system. You are safe now. You can slow down. It could be a warm foot soak. It could be a lukewarm shower. It could even be washing your hands and face slowly, mindfully. But the real transformation is not in the water, it is in the awareness. As the water touches your skin, you silently tell your body, you are done for the day. You don't need to hold anything anymore. And this is where something beautiful happens. The body listens. Because the body is always listening, even when the mind is not. We often underestimate how much emotional weight the body carries. Shoulders hold stress, jaw holds anger, chest holds worry, legs hold fatigue. So, when you introduce a cooling, slowing ritual, you are not just cleaning the body, you are releasing stored tension. In spiritual traditions, water has always symbolized release. Not because it is magical, but because it teaches flow. Nothing clings in water, everything softens. And sleep is exactly that state softened awareness. There is also a psychological aspect. When you repeatedly perform a pre sleep ritual, your brain begins to associate it with rest. This creates what scientists call a conditioning loop. But spiritually, it is simpler. You are teaching your body a language of rest. Over time, just starting the ritual signals sleep readiness. But the deeper message here is this: most people don't lack sleep, they lack permission to stop. And this ritual becomes that permission. We live in a world that is constantly speaking to us. Phones, television, conversations, notifications, even silence is filled with noise waiting to happen. After 60, many people try to force sleep at night, but what they don't realize is that the mind has already been overstimulated for hours. And overstimulation does not suddenly become calm. Imagine trying to stop a running engine instantly. It needs time to slow down. That is why the evening silence gap is so powerful. This is a simple practice. 30 to 45 minutes before sleep, you remove all inputs. No phone, no TV, no heavy discussions, no emotional conversations. At first, it feels strange, almost uncomfortable, because we are addicted to stimulation. Silence for many people feels like emptiness. But that is a misunderstanding. Silence is not empty, it is full of processing. When external noise stops, internal clarity begins. In those quiet moments, your mind starts doing something beautiful, it begins to settle itself. Like dust in water, thoughts slowly sink. And for the first time in the day, you meet yourself without interruption. Many people fear this moment because unresolved emotions rise. But that is exactly why sleep is difficult in the first place. Sleep requires emotional digestion. If we keep feeding the mind until the last second, we expect it to suddenly switch off like a machine. But the mind is not a machine, it is an ecosystem. Even spiritually, silence has always been considered sacred. Not because it is mystical, but because it removes interference. You hear life more clearly. And in that clarity, something soft happens. You begin to detach from the day. Not in rejection, but in acceptance. This day is complete. And a completed day sleeps better than an unfinished one. Let me end with something deeply human. Most sleeplessness after 60 is not just physical, it is emotional. At night, the mind naturally evaluates life. It reviews, compares, judges. And unfortunately, human. Psychology has a bias. We remember what is missing more than what is present. So if you go to bed in that mental state, sleep becomes difficult because the mind is still in problem solving mode. That is where the gratitude switch becomes transformative. Before sleeping, ask yourself one question: what are three things that did not go wrong today? Not grand achievements, not big milestones, just simple truths. I ate today, I spoke to someone, I made it through the day. This shifts the mind from scarcity to sufficiency. And when the mind feels enough, it stops scanning for danger. It relaxes. Because sleep is not just physical rest, it is psychological safety. A grateful mind feels safe. A safe mind sleeps. But let me take this deeper. Gratitude is not denial of pain, it is balance of perception. You are not ignoring difficulties. You are refusing to let them be the only story. And when you do this consistently, something subtle changes. You stop ending your day with questions like, "What did I lose today?" and start ending it with, "What did I still have today?" And that shift is everything. Because the quality of your sleep is not decided at night, it is decided by the emotional lens through which you lived your day. So tonight, instead of forcing sleep, try inviting peace.